Down plays better than anyone.
I mean, this is like Shark Week now. And you know what Baker Mayfield is? He's chum. Look at these sharks. You think you're getting away from those 4 angry sharks? It's Shark Week. It's time to eat. Make the read. Urgency. That's the name of the game right here. Urgency. Now, on it. He's on it. Touchdown. Beautiful throw.
He's our 95.7 The Game NFL insider, Brian Baldinger.
Baldy here on the Morning Roast, as he is every single Tuesday morning with Joe Shasky the Butcher and Bonte Hill. And he was in Philadelphia. I saw him checking out Temple and Boston College, talking about let me see how this kickoff team looks. They're going to set the tone, and Boston College goes and returns a kickoff past midfield. But he was also calling Eagles and Niners. So he was at the link Sunday in what was a frenzy there early on in that football game. Of course, the Niners win 17-11. And Baldy, good morning to you. And I guess the first question right off the bat here, as we're discussing George Kittle, what did you see from the Philadelphia Eagles defense to take George Kittle out of that football game? Were they the reason George Kittle only received 4 targets Sunday against the Eagles?
Well, they didn't really have the ball that much, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, they weren't converting third downs early on in that game, and so they weren't on the field, and they just didn't have, you know, a great number of possessions. I think in the first half, you know, they converted, I don't know, 2 third downs. I mean, they were punting a bunch. And so, you know, it's hard to get into a rhythm. You know, they had 2 long drives, and, you know, that was the difference in the game, 97 yards and 92 yards. And basically, you know, they were just nickel and diming. They had a couple big plays. Debo got one there before the end of the half. And so there wasn't really that many opportunities, to be honest with you. I mean, he's kind of, you know, the touchdown to Juwan Johnson, I mean, they double Kittle on the play, and they blow the coverage. And so they take Kittle away, but they leave Johnson wide open. So, you know, I mean, Garoppolo's job is to get the open guy the ball. And, you know, he struggled early on, but, you know, found a rhythm later on.
You know, Baldy, I'm glad you bring up George Kittle there. We're going to get to Garoppolo, offensive line, defense, all that stuff. But for me, you know, he's a great blocker. You showcased it on all the videos. He's an awesome, dynamic blocker, but he's also a dynamic playmaker down the field. And I'm watching Travis Kelce Sunday Night Football just making plays all over, and they're very different players. But I feel like they don't prioritize getting the ball to George enough each half. I'm not saying 12 targets a half, just a couple more. Was that a byproduct of the Eagles trying to, you know, triple and double team him, or was this just not in the game plan for this particular week?
Well, you know, I mean, Kansas City's offense is completely different. I mean, Andy Reid throws the ball coming out of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan runs the ball coming out of the tunnel. You know, it doesn't matter. I mean, they went through how many different running backs on Sunday, but, you know, which is a problem. But, you know, they ran the ball almost 40 times in the game. And so that's what they want to do. And, you know, they want to play action off it, and it'll change week to week. There'll be games for sure where George gets targeted 8 or 10 times. But they don't go into a game saying, we got to get Kittle going. I mean, that's not how this offense works. And George understands that. And so, I mean, he looks just as happy pancaking guys right now as he does, you know, catching any footballs. And look, there's a lot of guys. I mean, I think Brandon Aiyuk is a good player. You know, he got targeted one time. You know, he had one catch in a game. I mean, it's just the way it is right now. And, you know, I think that will change as time goes on.
No doubt about it. Brian Baldinger here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game, joining us for his regular weekly here on the Roast. Baldy, looking at Jimmy Garoppolo, because a lot of people are coming down on him, and I thought Jimmy Garoppolo, once he got off to that rocky start, he settled in, and part of that was because this Eagles defensive line is really ferocious. You talk about sharks in the water, Fletcher Cox, Hargraves, you know, Sweat, these guys are sharks. He got off to a rocky start, but I thought Jimmy settled down and got the Niners into some nice drives there, a couple 90-yarders there, and had a decent game. What did you make of Jimmy G's performance on Sunday?
I thought the same thing. I was just curious, you know, because it's interesting. You can't see this because, you know, you're home, but I'm at the game. And, you know, between every TV timeout, Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo are both throwing. Now, you know, you just don't see that very often. You know, both quarterbacks are up and both are staying warmed up. And that's to Trey Lance's credit that he's staying loose. And I thought, you know, Kyle Jimmy's really struggled early on. I mean, he wasn't accurate with the ball. He missed some open receivers. We all saw it. And Kyle stayed with them. Now, the defense did their job keeping the score close, goal line stand, all that kind of stuff. And so, there was no need to pull him. But I thought it was important that he didn't pull him because I think you got to, quarterbacks have to be able to play through that. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers was awful against the New Orleans Saints. He was MVP worthy last night. Quarterbacks just have to play through that. And they see the game differently than we do on TV or up in the booth. I mean, they see hands in their face. They see just a piece of a wide receiver. They're shielded. It's just different down there on the field. I think Kyle sees it. And so I thought it was important to let Jimmy just play through it, play through a rough start, and then finish, pretty strong. And I thought that was a testimony to him.
Yeah, I thought he finished really strong, actually, and that Deebo Samuel pass that you highlighted, unbelievable protection, but just a great throw and great run by Deebo Samuel. I want to ask you about Deebo. This guy, it feels like he's been a really good player, but this year he's really showcasing all the talent. How good is this guy? I mean, how good can he be, I guess, Deebo Samuel?
When he catches the ball, he explodes. He's looking to score every time he gets it. He's as strong from the waist down as almost any running back in the league. That's how he's built. And so he runs through contact. And, man, when he got that ball, look, it was a little curl route over the middle behind the linebackers, and he just took off and exploded. And we've seen that week 1, too. Yep. That's the healthy Deebo right there. And we saw that, his rookie year quite a bit. But, if you give it to him, in the run game, I think you can expect the same type thing. They're all, in the screen game, any type of a play where you get the ball in his hands. I mean, he's just looking to, just cut the defense up as soon as he touches it.
No, he's physical. He wants to send a statement. He wants to send a message, and he's playing some good football right now. Can the other guy get going, Brandon Aiyuk? He did play 38 snaps after a lot of talk about him having a hamstring injury, whether or not he was in Kyle Shanahan's offense. He made a big third down catch there. I know he only got 2 targets. That was good to see the way he caught that football from Jimmy G on that key third down in the second half. But Brandon Aiyuk, what does he need to do to get more involved in his offense?
He's got to keep working. They're not really calling his number. They did on the 3rd and 2 to convert, on the long drive in the fourth quarter. That's not going to make him happy. Right. It's not going to make any 49er happy that, when they traded up to get him, a year ago. I thought he had some drops in the preseason. Mm-hmm. Maybe, that sort of took a little of the excitement out. Who knows? But it's a long season. The 49ers have issues at running back right now. They got to try to find some healthy guys. The receivers will have their days. Right now, it's Deebo and it's kind of everybody else. But that's okay. That's all right. I mean, you just got to play through this stuff. There'll be plenty of time for Brandon Aiyuk to go to work. He's a good route runner. Right. Sometimes he's a great route runner. You need some time. You need protection. You got to get into a rhythm. There'll be days when the first downs come and they're on the field a lot, and they got 70, 75 plays, and they will get the ball to number 11. I feel pretty certain about that.
Baldy, you mentioned right off the top how Kyle Shanahan wants to run the ball right out the tunnel. Well, who's going to run the ball this Sunday? Because running backs are dropping like flies. Trey Sermon gets 1 carry, concussion. Michael Hasty has a high ankle. We know about Mostert, how he's out for the season with a knee issue here. Who the heck's going to run the football moving forward? Or is Bobby Turner or Shanahan going to say, this is what we do. We've been doing it for over 20 years.
Well, I guess Elijah Mitchell, finished the game after going out of the game. I don't know what his health is like. I know this. I like Elijah Mitchell, and I know the 49ers do too. I don't think that's a guy that you can just give the ball to 15 or 20 times. I think he's 5'10", he's 200 pounds. Physically, I don't know if he can take the beating that running backs take. And so I think, to me, he has to right now because that's where they're at. But he can't be the featured back. I just think it's going to be tough. You're going to have a committee. And so I don't know what they have from the practice squad. I don't know what John Lynch and his staff have done this week. It's only Tuesday, so I'm sure guys will be brought in there. But Trent Cannon was, a guy that has bounced around this league, was with the Jets. I don't know what he is at this point. So I don't know. I don't know if Trey Sermon is up, with the concussion, if he's in protocol all week. I don't know. But, You know, I haven't seen a team go through running backs like this in 2 weeks ever. I don't think.
It's crazy. I mean, and Baltimore swooped up all the available running backs because of their issues.
There's always running backs. There's always running backs. I mean, Raheem Mostert was a pickup.
That's true.
You know, you just got to do your homework.
Yeah.
Do your homework, but but it's not an easy offense to learn.
Yeah.
So you just can't throw these guys in there and think protection-wise and all this stuff that they're going to be able to handle it. That's the problem. I have to go look at the practice squad. I should have looked at it today. There's 16 guys on there. I don't know if there was a guy that they could.
Kerryon Johnson's one of the guys on there, former Detroit Lion.
Yeah, well, so like I saw Kerryon. Kerryon was here in Philly during training camp. He played a lot actually in preseason, and he had some nice days in Detroit. Now he's had some major injuries, so I don't know how he is physically, but he went through all the training camp, 4 scrimmages with the Eagles. So he's been hit. He's been tested a little bit. That might be a guy they can use.
Yeah, Baldy, I'll let Bonte talk about the trenches, O and D line, because I thought they were awesome. I want to talk about the secondary. That was my biggest concern heading into this game. It's like, wow, look at these dynamic receivers the Eagles have. Hurts is going to try to move around a little. And I thought Ward, Tart, even Josh Norman, Diamondor Lenore, I thought they all played really well. What'd you see?
Well, they gave up a 91-yard pass. That's on a corner. The Eagles didn't finish that drive. I've never seen a team ever have a 90-yard play and not score ever in the NFL.
That's wild.
And they got stopped down the 1-yard line. So, Josh Norman had 2 pass interference penalties. It wasn't like they were great. But like that's where they're at right now. And so, they have. They have Dre Kirkpatrick, that did. I don't know if he played or not. I don't think he did. But, they've got some guys. Deontay Johnson, got called up. He played, a year ago. So they got some bodies there. I don't know how good they are. Can Josh Norman run with these receivers that he's going to see? I mean, you're going to see Green Bay, this weekend on Sunday night. You saw what Devontae did last night.
Yes.
It took him a while, but like they're going to get the ball to Devontae. So you got to have some kind of a plan to try to keep him in front of you, because that guy is an elite player. And Aaron Jones is an elite receiver. So. And they're more than that. Tanya's a really good player. You saw it last night. I mean, if there's a weakness at corner, believe me, if there's one quarterback in this league that's going to go after him, it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, there's no doubt about that. Diamondor Lenore, the rookie corner from Oregon, solid. But you're right, Baldy did give up that 90-yard play. Brian Baldinger here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. Joins us every Tuesday to break down and recap the 49ers' previous game, which was, of course, against the Eagles. And, look, I love talking about the trenches. It's not a great sports radio topic, quote-unquote, but the trenches this week. Oh, people get bored, apparently, with the trenches. I love the trenches, Baldy. And I thought the trenches.
I know you do, Bunty, but I don't believe the fans get bored.
I don't know.
The fans turn the channel if you're talking about Alex Mack.
Maybe it's our program. Maybe it's our program.
Williams.
Hey, look.
Like I just, or Kevin Gibbons. Like I just don't think they get bored, man. I mean, Nick Bosa just, he's coming back from a major surgery from not even a year ago. And look at how he's affecting the game already.
I'd say it. Maybe it's our program director, Matt Nahigan, in my head. Oh, I don't want to hear about defensive line play. But damn, the defensive line play on both sides of the football, it was a brawl.
Go in that office back there and lock the door and throw away the key.
I agree.
Keep him away from you.
I will. I would do that moving forward here. That's actually a good call, Baldy, because I thought the trenches this week, it was a fist fight. It was a fist fight, Baldy, and I know you love fist fights. Bosa, Armstead, Kinlaw, DJ Jones. On the other side, you have Fletcher, Cox, and Sweat. This was a battle, and I love the battle that the Niners brought, man. They fought there with the goal line stand, which I thought flipped the game.
Well, it flipped the game, and on that, there were some crazy plays. I have no idea what the Eagles were doing on 4th and 3. Some version of Philly special, that was just awful. It was ugly. But, the guy that really showed up down there in the goal line stand and has showed up 2 weeks in a row is Kentavious Street. And I don't know how many people thought like Kentavious Street was going to be a real contributor, but like his penetration on the one play of the Eagles tried to run a dive out of I formation, he blew the whole thing up. And so I'm impressed. They dressed 9 defensive linemen. That tells you what they're all about. They got 9 defensive linemen up. to keep them fresh, to rotate them through. It's going to be a hot day in September. You're on the road for the second week in a row. You've been staying in, some, resort in West Virginia. You got to have fresh bodies. And, they played all 9 guys in that game.
What's the thing that the 2021 49ers, just through 2 games, have struggled at the most?
I just think, sustaining offense. They really struggled in that first half. They had put the one drive together. But I think they're much better. I know the Eagles played well defensively, but they're better than a 17-point offense.
That's what
they just are. They didn't finish well against Detroit in that game in the fourth quarter. Maybe they got tired. Who knows? But all these teams, all these teams. You can even take Tampa, take any team. September is the new August, guys, and you just got to get used to playing a lot. Fred Warner, you name it. Name a great player. Like, you just haven't played much of preseason. You haven't been hit much. You just got to get through September and use that as what the old preseason used to be. And I think, you look at a team like the Bucs, they're giving up a ton of points. They're better than that. But if you haven't played and you haven't seen a lot, your eyes got to get fast. Your body has to get hit. You got to get, some calluses built up. And I think a lot of these teams are kind of going through that.
Baldy, that's an excellent point there. We get you out of here with this one. Fred Warner Jr., number 54. I watched this guy run out the tunnel at the link and run to the opposite end zone and just look in the crowd. And then he went out there and just balled out as the middle linebacker of the 49ers. So it was just sideline to sideline. What did you think of his performance and the way he's playing football right now to start the season?
Well, they ran a play-action pass on that goal line stand, and he was all over the tight end. He was all over Jalen Hurts on a read option. He's assignment perfect. He's a remarkable player. He doesn't miss games. He doesn't miss plays. Now, knock on wood. He's a remarkable player. He knows where the ball is going. And really, he's been like that for 4 straight years. I remember talking to John Lynch before his first game against the Minnesota Vikings at U.S. Bank Stadium. What is it about this Fred Warner guy that you like, John? He's our Mike. Right now, he's our Mike. Like, he gets his line from day one. He was the Mike linebacker for the 49ers. And he's played like it. They've rewarded him. He's just a remarkable player.
Brian Baldinger, every Tuesday, 7:30. It is appointment radio here on the Morning Roast, and we'll see the Niners in their home opener at Levi Stadium. Go against the Green Bay Packers. Fans will be at the stadium for the first time since that NFC Championship back in 2020. Baldy, where are you going to be at this weekend?
I am going to be in Kansas City for the Chargers-Chiefs this weekend.
What a game.
That's a great AFC West clash.
Herbert.
I like it. We got a Charger fan back here. He's ticked off over the Cowboys loss here, but Chargers, they always make for an entertaining football game. That is for sure. Baldy.
They got to stop turning the ball over in the red zone. It's killing him 2 weeks in a row.
No doubt. Justin Herbert.
The penalties are killing him. So, But look, mistakes in red zone offense, that'll get you 0-2 to start a season.
No doubt. And Kansas City trying to bounce back from that tough loss in Baltimore. Baldy, you are the best, man. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
I'm talking trenches next week, Bonte. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, we will. We can talk trenches all day long here, baby. Let's go.
All right, guys.
All right, Baldy.